Welcome to Moessieurs for this new MODX M and Montage M video. I know this is a topic many of you have been asking for, understanding how to manage effects. Today, we'll start with the insert effects. Just before to start, if you like the video content, please click on the thumbs up. It's really important to me to know that you appreciate the content I create. And once it's done, click on the boost button to promote this video in YouTube recommendations. It's super important for small channels like Moessieurs. For this video, I chose an FM sound, the Wave mod. It's a really beautiful sound. It shows that you can create great leads with FM. Of course, with the super knob, you can do some pretty wild stuff, where it really goes off the rails. To get a quick idea of what insertion effects are in this sound, there's a little clue in the name itself. Wave mod mean wave modulation. Just a reminder, press Shift and navigation to go on FX overview screen, and you'll see the insertion effects. There are 2 for each part. Here, we have the wave folder. That's why the performance is called wave mod. And we have a nice delay too. I'm not going to talk about the system effects, the master EQ, or the master FX today. In fact, I'm going to turn them off right now to stay focused on the 2 insert effects. The difference between the MODX M and the Montage M is that, on the Montage M, if you use up to 16 parts to work in your software sequencer, all 16 parts have their own 2 insertion effects. On the MODX M, there are 12 parts that can have them. From parts 9 to 16, there are 4 parts that won't have these insert effects. Let's see how we access to the insert effects screen for this part. It's simple. Go to navigation, the built-in GPS, and look, you'll see insert A and insert B effects. Let's go to the insert A screen. But now, let's go to the routing screen here to understand how it works. We're on an FM part. All the FM operators go through the effects block without any differentiation. You can't have operator 1 or 2 going to the insert A and the others gone to the insert B effect. That's exclusive to the AWM2 part. I'll show you that later. It's the same for the ANX parts. All the oscillators and noise signals pass through the effects block together. For ANX or FMX, the entire output signal goes into our effects. As you can see, it passed through a 3-band EQ before to pass through the insertion effects. That's called pre-FX. You have access to this 3-band EQ right here. And after the effects, you have a 2-band EQ right here. That's a post-FX EQ. Here, all is set to through. There aren't any adjustment on it. A quick reminder, if you want to enable the VCM Rotary as insert FX, just click on it. It only works on part 1, and be careful on the MODX M, it disables seamless sound switching. It doesn't disable SSS on the Montage M. The Montage M has more powerful processors, which allow it to handle this, but still only on part 1. For the Montage M and MODX M, the VCM Rotary use the 2 insert FX slots. Just a quick note on system effects. Here, if you want to adjust the reverb and variation send, you don't have to go back to the general pitch part settings screen. You can do it there, in the System Send Effects section, which is right here. That's it for the first general routing overview. Now, if you want to edit insert effect A or B in more details, just go to the insert A or the insert B screen. Let's stick on routing screen and take a look at all the effects types available. I won't go through all of them, because as you can imagine, this video isn't going to last 15 to 20 minutes. It would take last 3 hours, given to you all insertion effects are available. You can choose between different effects types. You can choose to not to apply any effects by selecting through. Sometimes, with a lot of acoustic instruments, let's say guitar, flute, that kind of sound, you'll have one effect set to through, and the other effect using just the VCM equalizer. These are not the kinds of sounds where you'd typically apply, I can say, modern effects. Of course, you can do whatever you want. If you go into the reverbs, Here you'll see the difference compared to the video I'll make later on system effects. You have far fewer options as insertion effects, because with system reverb effect, you have more possibilities. You don't have the shimmer reverb, you have 3 SPX reverb, a gate reverb, the famous reverse reverb for slightly reversing the reverb effect. SPX is a Yamaha effects module that was introduced in 1985. You have a very large hall, a room smaller than hall, and stage is for the stage as it's named. You have plenty of delay choices. Cross delays, delays that can be synced to the performance tempo. There are settings for quarter notes, half notes, eighth notes, and so on. You have control delays, and even analog or modern delay emulations. You have also plenty of chorus options. So often, when it comes to chorus effects, for emulating a 80s or 90s cover, my advice is to go with the SPX. Because that was the go-to effects module back in those days. It just makes sense. While the G chorus is a bit more modern, and the 2 modulator has 2 modulation sections. I won't go into more details, otherwise it would take too long. For classic sounds, choose the symphonic, and the ensemble detune can be pretty good to a smooth modulation. Since the OS 3.0, you have the GS1 ensemble chorus and tremolo, which is pretty spectacular since it's a 2-in-1. It lets you have both a tremolo and a chorus. It can be very subtle, and it works just as well on modern productions as it does on 80s style sound emulations. You have some flanges. Whenever you see VCM in the name, it stands for Virtual Circuitry Modeling. An emulation of famous effects pedals or rack from the 70s. You have also choice to using classic, tempo, or dynamic. This one reacts to the velocity. You have a similar concept for the phasers. Then you'll have the rotary tremolo category here. You have an auto pan effect that done left to right panning, and a tremolo effect. But if you want to free up an insertion effect slot, as reminder, the GS1 on the chorus section handles both tremolo and chorus. You have the basic rotary emulations coming from the Motif series, Rotary Speaker 1 and 2. The 2 has a bit more distortion. If you don't want to use the VCM Rotary because you want to keep the SSS and one other insert FX slot, you can go with one of these 2 effects. There are plenty of distortion effects that can be used for guitars, but not just them. With electric pianos, leads can use 2 distortion effects, though often in a more moderate way. But anyway, here you have simulated guitar amps with compressors and speakers models that lean US sound, jazz, or the British sound. And most importantly, there's one very interesting effect. I'm going to take a bit of time to talk about this one. It's the multi-FX. You've got distortion, compressor, and sustain. You also have speaker emulation, and the settings go pretty far with that. Plus, you've got a wah, a phaser, and a delay built in. This is an all-in-one multi-effects unit. That's pretty interesting to use if you need a little bit of everything, and need one other insert effect type. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell to be notified when I release a new video. You can also request an online training with me by Zoom. It's not only explaining things point by point, telling only you what this function is for. What I'm offering is truly support for your musical project, whether it's for getting started or exploring the Montage M or the MODX M synthesizer. Whether you want to delve deeper into areas where you lack knowledge, or if you have some gaps in your understanding, my goal is to guide and help you to reach your desired level, based on your current knowledge, to improving it. We can also work with your stage setup. Just send me your backup file, and we can work on your performance examples. This isn't a training course where it's mandatory to follow a program from the beginning to the end. You choose your session topic, and at the end, I send you the session video recording to let you watch it as many times as you need. Do not hesitate, contact me now. You'll find all the information in the video description. You have other options with the British Amp series. Then there's the entire compressor's choices. Compressing the sound means, if your level is too low, the compressor can boost it. If your level is too high, it can lowering it. There are several selections: the VCM, the Classic, the Multi, the Uni, the Parallel, and the famous MSEQ compressor, which I already covered in the AD input video as a vocal effect. Check it out, I explain what's available in a bit more detail on that AD video. Let's scroll down by using the little arrow. Of course, there's wah with an auto wah, it handles itself. You have the touch, which reacts to velocity, and then you have the pedal wah. Like for guitarists, you need the FC 7-foot control pedal, and then you'll control the wah with your foot throughout the entire song. What are these low FI effects? It means low fidelity. The purpose is to degrade the sound. As example, degrade it to something like 8-bit sound of old game consoles. If you want to emulate that kind of sound, you can use one of them. You have also this one. That's the digital turntable that emulates a vinyl turntable sound. Sometimes people ask, I have background noise and click, I don't understand from where it come, and I can't seem to stop it, even by changing the performance. This effect, sound all time, without playing notes, and continuing with the SSS. If you don't like it, you can just turn it off, or change it to another effect. You also have the big crushers. The tech effects are modulation, or I can say more modern effects, even with the ring modulator, which is ring modulation, and the CS ring modulator. That's the CS80 main effect, originally which had 5 parameters, and now you have 10. That's a serious work done by Yamaha. There are spiralizer effects, slice effects, which slice up the sound. It would take way too long to show you all of them. But here's the point, if you're looking for effects that, you'll play a chord, it make your sound moving in several directions just with a single effect, without an arpeggio or motion sequence, you can dive into this section, you'll find exactly what you're looking for. And then there's MISC category, which stands for miscellaneous. It's a diverse and varied effects collection. You'll find the famous VCM EQ501, which is a very good 5-bands equalizer. Presence is more for enhance acoustic guitar sounds, that sort of thing. There's a harmonic enhancer, and the talking modulator isn't a talk box, it lets you create vowel-like effects, but even if it's not like a real talk box, you can do some interesting things with it. There's the wave folder, I made a Montage M video for it, and the mini filters, which are emulations of the MOOG brand. Then you have the piano damper resonance, and also the pitch shift I showed in my video to simulate a unison effect. That effect is really great. And then, you'll find the vocoder, check my complete video about using it. There's also a multi-effect unit, the noise gate, which cuts off sound below a certain level, along with a compressor and an equalizer. That can be pretty cool too. I didn't include it in the video about microphones using with AD input, but it's something that can be quite interesting, because there are some pretty nice settings on it. For all the insertion effects, you'll have some presets. The list choice will vary depending on the effect. These are basic presets that give you a foundation to work from, providing you with a pretty interesting starting point. Let's wrap up this video. Insert effects category. I know, it's a bit of a list. But sometimes people get confused, they don't know what to choose as insert effects. That's why I'm trying to explain what you can find there, and in what contexts you can use these effects. Before wrap up that video, this screen is only available on the MODX M, since the Montage M has 16 parts with dual inserts effects. On the MODX M, you'll have to choose for parts 9 through 16, for parts that won't have insert effects, and for that the ones I've selected on the screen will have insert effects, the others won't. Let's see an example. What kind of sounds would you apply to not use insert effects? You could mostly apply it to classic acoustic instruments. I will choose an AWM2 acoustic guitar. I'll go back to the attributes and set it to single to make things easier. There we go, I'll use an acoustic guitar to keep it simple. Sao Paulo, let's press Shift and navigation. This is the perfect example. There's just an equalizer, because on an acoustic guitar, you don't really need anything else besides that. And the second effect is set as through. Let's take a look at how this equalizer is set up. You can see what's been boosted, raised, or lowered in terms of gain and frequency. If you decided this part 13 don't use insert effects, what are you going to do to replace the equalizer? You have the 3-band equalizer pre-FX, there are fewer bands, but you can try to replicate a little bit of what you had on the 5-band equalizer. We won't be able to replicate everything, but you can do a good job with it. One other advice, an interesting feature is on the 2-band equalizer. Even without using it, you have an output level. That lets you regain some part gain. It often use it to add gain. You can use it to reduce gain if you want, but often when you say, I'm a little low and your fader is up, you don't want to push your fader all the way up. You can boost a part with this setting. And since we're using an AWM2 part, it's perfect. I can show you the difference from FMX and ANX parts comparing to AWM2. For FMX and ANX, all the entire audio output block passes through the insert effects. For AWM2 parts, you have the option to route some elements that make up the part directly to an insertion effect and the others no. Let's take an example. Routing is set from insert A to B here. You could choose to have element 1 skip the insert FX A and go directly to the B, or vice versa. You can do things like that. Or you can even set up parallel routing for insertion effects, which means some elements gone through one effect, while others gone through a different one exclusively. These are all the kinds of settings you can configure here on the AWM2 only, which really offer some very interesting possibilities in terms of effects management. For example, you could route some elements through a chorus effect and not the others. Route the slightly more percussive part at the sound beginning through a delay effect, while you routing the pad element exclusively through a chorus. That's one example of how you might use this. Let's wrap up that video with a closing point. The last thing you need to understand is that when you click on the plus here to add a part, the part automatically comes with its 2 insert effects. You can't choose to not include them. If you really don't want to use them, on the MODX M for parts 9 to 16, just set them off on the dedicate screen, or just hold Shift and navigation. For part 2, you can say, I don't want the VCM EQ, I don't want the damper resonance. For a piano, it's still a bit of a shame to turn off the damper resonance, which is the wooden soundboard resonance. But anyway, depending on the situation, you can do that right here in this view. Keep in mind that the 2 insert effects are at the part heart, as soon as call up parts to use them. Each part always comes with its 2 insert effects. That's video ending. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found the content interesting. Feel free to click on like, and I also invite you to click on the boost button to highlight this video in YouTube suggestions. As official Yamaha expert and specialist, if you want to learn more quickly how to use or take in hand your Montage M, MODX M, ESP, Camelot Pro, or any of the Yamaha synthesizers and stage keyboards that I use, or also Cubase MIDI and audio recording with them, you can request an online masterclass with me. You choose your session topic, and you can download your session video to watch it as many times as you need. If you are a Moessieurs YouTube community member, you will get 15 minutes extra time for each session. How to become a member? Just sign up on YouTube. It's a monthly subscription of €3, and you'll get more than just the 15 minutes extra time. You'll get to see all my videos in preview, without ads, almost 1 month in advance, as well as my private videos without ads too. Don't hesitate to join the Moessieurs YouTube community. See you soon for a new Moessieurs video.